today we got... So funny enough, actually, I've got to... Hey, y'all. I'm in physical pain. So today was not a day that I was expecting to be absolutely furious. Like, how is a 6-hour game of Mario taking over the world by storm? It's just an add-on. I don't mean it's great. It's like a mini Odyssey with like Mario 3D World mechanics from my favorite Mario game. Like, what the? And I'm not even a cat person. Fuck off. So, hello, and welcome to the review of Bowser's Fury.
Now, Bowser's Fury is the expansion to Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I guess we're doing addition in class today. Now, what we got leading up to this was the announcement of this game at a direct for Mario's 35th anniversary. And a badass Bowser was ready to kick some ass. So Junior, setting off the tornado alarms, is forced to work with Mario to take down the gooped up Fury Bowser. Which, if it isn't obvious by the knockoff EGAD brush, is probably all of BJ's doing. I mean, good job, Junior. You got the Bowser his best design since Dry Bowser. I live to see the boy Bowser out here if he's got a serious Kamehameha ready to level a town of cats. I'm all down for it. So with this new adventure and a new clown cart companion, let's enter the furry fury of Lake Lapcat. So how does this game open? Mario gets a flashback to Sunshine with a big M on the floor, but with those accent marks. So Mario looks at it a little too much and gets warped literally headfirst into Lake Lapcat, but it's raining and being terrorized by... Is that the Grim Reaper?! After running away over the set of Pirates of the Caribbean and securing the first of many lighthouses, Bowser goes back to the hibernation and decides to recharge his phone battery. Shortly after, the first island of Lake Lapcat arises to climactic glory. Honestly, this opening captures the game in total pretty well, addressing the main mechanic and introducing the big open world that is yet to come. And at this point, Bowser Jr. is found on the next island over, ready with his canvas to give you the rundown in chicken scratch. Basically, Jr. and his dad revive, and then Bowser gets taken over by this bendy and the machine-type goo and has gone absolutely haywire. Even Jr. can't control him, so in desperation, he asks the only person he knows who can. Supper me roll! It's after this point that you've teamed up with BJ that the game basically lets you free. Considering this is a giant open-world Mario with freedom and adventure around every level, unlike we've seen before, it's mesmerizing just to be let into this venture. There's not a separate world idea like in Odyssey or a system like in 64, it's completely open, Breath of the Wild style. And that is what captured me from the get-go. A simplistic introduction with enough direction to get you started and keep you going. Simply one of the best ways a Mario game can introduce itself. Now, I could easily run you through exactly how I experienced this semi-game, but instead I'll make it a bit easier to talk about, so let's cover how I'm going to split this review. Mechanics and gameplay. It's a video game based off of 3D World, which is a whole nother bag to open, so I'll cover the new ideas sprouted into Lake Lapcat. Shine progression. Since the whole thing is lighthouses powered by cat shines, each lighthouse has a level dedicated to it, and 5 shines required to complete it that are spread out and need to be revisited. I'll cover how that works. Music. I'll mention this throughout the game, and if you haven't realized already, they're playing in the background. But having a nice neat section to praise it isn't too bad. Exploration. Yeah, extremely open world Mario with big boy Plessie to lead you where you need to go, allowing for experimentation. That's pretty much to follow. Bosses and ending. Simple enough. There's a point where this game actually does end. Before that though, there is an introduction of at least a few enemies that could be classed as at least mini-bosses. And finally, post-game content and rewards. Just as with Sunshine, it's not over after it's over, per se. There's rewards that, yes, I have gotten for the levels of completion within the game. I'll cover how to, and if it is worth, to get each of these. Now that you know what order we're going in, let's get to it. So now that you're left deserted on Hawaii, but with cats and huge mechanisms, you obviously have to figure out the gameplay in order to tackle these levels. Now this gameplay is almost directly cut from 3D World, making these nice small addition of jumps from Odyssey and a few new ways of utilizing power-ups for a great mash of open world puzzles. You can move pretty much freely compared to the past 8 directions and have a free camera. One main thing though is Bowser Jr. He helps by smashing enemies' skulls in and painting the walls of Lake Lapcat with his trusty brush, giving you access to pipes, new power-ups, or sometimes just doing something completely useless. You can also control him with a second player, though it's much like Odyssey's co-op, it's just kinda there. You can jump on Bowser Jr. if you so need. He also collects power-ups for you. In the way 3D World has a reserve slot, Bowser Jr. is a literal reserve vault, with every power-up from a boomerang flower to a lucky cat bell. It's super handy, and being able to use these freely is such an awesome idea. Now, we couldn't have Junior if it wasn't for So yeah, Fury Bowser here every now and then decides to give you a fair share of that annoying rain from Minecraft before smashing girders and new areas all around the map for exploration. There's also certain blocks that require a Fury Blast for you to get a shine, so I mean, that's pretty cool. He decides he's mad about every 10 minutes or so just let him throw his tantrums. He's like me, not a cat person, but stuck in a good game about cats. These pillars he decides to yeet in your face are stellar, as they help you get places in different ways and may even get you into a random power-up. And rest in peace 1-ups. The Giga Bell fights are also pretty cool, where Bowser basically throws himself at you and then rains down burning metal onto the big lion man over there. And all around, this gameplay was seriously a sight to behold, mixing what I'd say is the best Mario mechanics seen around. I mean, it really does make the game shine. Speaking of shine, the progression of these is open levels and many cat shines is really what enticed me to this whole Bowser is a Fury spiel. Each island has a lighthouse, and each group of islands has a Giga Bell, which after you get enough shrines allows you to slap Big Boy Bowser right in his face. So, back to lighthouses, one is assigned to each small island, and each has 5 shines. The first shine is almost always get to the lighthouse, and there you go. The next ones are also usually pretty easy, like collecting 5 shards. And the last one is almost always destroy the Fury blocks when Bowser decides to fire his laser. The others, between the ones I said in the past, actually require you to leave that island and progress to the next in order for the layout to completely randomize the enemies, challenges, and specifically the shines. I absolutely fell in love with this. It didn't just encourage backtracking, it rewarded it. I mean, you could zoom through the game and get a 50 easy peasy, but that one time you decide to return to the first level you beat and get rewarded with some more challenges, another boom boom fight, and eventually racing Shadow Luigi. Shadow Luigi! I honestly adore the small but charming, intricate ideas of simply changing the power-ups and availability, as even though most of the times it may seem small, it changes the entire idea of the level, making a whole new strategy come to light. And also the fact that the icy level now goes spear. The fact that all this happened in an openly traversable space is nuts. And Donkey saying this is Game of the Year might not be an understatement. And what is a Game of the Year contender without music? Surprisingly, for a 6-hour playtime, this is jumbo loaded with great tracks, and you can bounce surprisingly back and forth from themes very nicely. You've got the chill theme of Lake Lapcat, followed closely by Plessie's pristine writing track, and then somehow from those tropical vibes you can jump all the way to Fury Bowser's theme without feeling separated from the theming. And the fact that he took notes from Sephiroth for his boss music. Somehow these simple balances of level themes in each small island makes the tropical cat-like experience make you really wanna meow, and I seriously hate that I just said that. Anyway, Mario keeps his themes somehow pristine but flexible in all of his games, and if this doesn't prove it, then I seriously don't know what will. Now, I've mentioned this earlier in this video, but I have to bring up the smooth exploration. This is seriously what makes Bowser's Fury such a great side story to 3D World. If it wasn't for the open world yet separated levels, it wouldn't be such a great and glued together experience. I have to say, the ins and outs of these little secret shines make even the simplest time traveling from island to island on a big sea llama just perfect. There's even shines that award you for deciding to ride Plessie, giving you a time trial that spits you out at the next group of mini islands to explore. And best part, none of this requires a menu. After beating the game, you can even warp without loading, may I add. If you need to report to Gangplank Galleon before Bowser fires his laser in your face, simply just go there. This made such a seemingly fresh experience for Mario that even makes Odyssey squeal. Seriously, Plessie's just clutch. Now obviously every game has an ending, except Minecraft. Oh no, Minecraft does. So yeah, spoilers. Now, as to be expected, Mario has a simple and effective ending as always, with a last climactic boss battle against Fury Bowser, that this time is much more aggressive, and yet after defeating him, he rekindles from his goop with only the whites of his eyes, taking the Gigabells for himself. And who else better to help you save him than Bowser Jr. and Plessie? You especially chase down this giant Bowser, hitting the barrier and eventually shattering it, revealing the Gigabells to be taken by... Oh, that's one big boy!
Damn, boy, he's thick, boy!
Not gonna lie, I adore this glory and sweet twist. Now, the very ending, Bowser is in a sort of rant and decides to try and get Mario, but Bowser Jr. helps a little bit, and then we're left to see Big Water Llama again. Oh, I love it. And the end credits show a summary of the story in Junior's Chicken Scratch, which I just gotta say I adore. And the end reveals a covered painting with how many stars you got. But you wanna see the full painting? Well, Maya introduced you to the post-game. This allows you to fill in any loose ends and adds more for you to find in Lake Lapcat. There's 5 shines attainable from a random island during a Fury. There's 4 Captain Toads to find, a nice painting of appreciation from Bowser Jr., and easy access to the beginning island of the game. It's just a nice ride to see such effort put into— oh my god, Cat Plessie is real! Yep, after beating the game, you get Cat Plessie, which is purely cosmetic. Aside from that, the new spaces open to allow you to embark on fun challenges in blank spaces of Lake Lapcat, shooting into clouds and flinging yourself from springs. It's a nice addition to an already amazing adventure. Now, after getting all 100 cat shines, you can fight Fury Bowser again, in a new form, which I refer to as True Fury Bowser. He's got the white light now, and that's really about it. The fight is a bit more fast-paced, Bowser is more aggressive, and the final big Bowser boss takes you a little longer to bash in. If you persevere, you get the same cutscene and credits, but this time with a painting of Super Saiyan Mario and Cat Jr. in the end. A nice ending touch to a simple, touching game. Now, re-entering that save file and oh my god, Cat Bowser Jr. is staring at me. Oh yeah, and Mario is now always Giga Cat form within a Cat Bell. It's all cosmetic, but honestly, I'd say it's a great reward for this mini spice of joy. Bowser's Fury is a very nice slice of Mario pizza, being a short but tremendously innovative idea based off of Odyssey and 3D World mixed together. It's got the open worlds, the great soundtrack, funny interactions, friendly Bowser Jr., and Plessie for God's sake. Plessie tearing through trees and a pillar might just make this semi-game a super solid title by itself, and the fact that it comes with my favorite Mario game of all time just makes it that much better. Bowser's Fury had me in a tropical mindset, and honestly, though it may seem a bit like proof of concept, I have to give this slice a 9 out of 10.
It's almost perfect, with a water level comparable to that of Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Its simplicity, but its complexity, is what takes this world and makes it just that much better. And may I just mention Bowser's design. As you can probably tell by now, I adore this bundle that was released by Nintendo. But there is an entire other side.
Mario 3D World!
I am so ready. So, my fellow Shine Burglars, I hope you have a nice day, and I will see you next time.